Hi everyone. Of all the videos of Debussy's Clair de Lune on YouTube, no video is more popular than the one we're going to watch and listen to today. This one by Rousseau has amassed over 60 million views, must have made a fortune for its creator. And there's a lot we can learn from it, from a pianistic perspective. Unfortunately, most of those things are things not to do. This is not really professional level playing, I have to say. And to put it in perspective, I don't think any professional musician would disagree with me on this, that this level of playing would not even get you into any top-level music school anywhere in the world. Now, I have nothing, of course, nothing against Rousseau. I have a bit of an issue with the algorithm that pushes videos like this to the detriment of world-class pianists like say Argerich or Barenboim or Brendel or whoever it might be. Oftentimes it's really bizarre to see those videos much lower down in the rankings with only maybe a few thousand views, and then you have videos like this that amass really millions. We're going to learn from it. I'm going to demonstrate to you some of the things that are missing in this video, maybe some things that are good as well. So here we go. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so the first thing that I would say that I notice about this video is that there's a real lack of any phrasing. So, for example, right at the beginning, when you have this note here, it should resolve, of course, to the note after it. They need to feel connected. If that connection is not there, it just feels like two notes, one after the next. And that's sort of the way Rousseau plays it. It's a basic pianistic mistake. So, dum-bum, this resolves to this. And then the next note should be connected. Okay, everything in this piece is connected. And what you see that he does often, let me just finish this phrase, is that he lifts up the hands in between the phrases. You know, he'll do something like this, like lifting the right hand and lifting the right hand, and really not doing the work necessary with finger substitutions or whatever it might be to make sure that those notes are really connected very, very well. It sounds very, very flat. Now, maybe part of that is the instrument he's using, the digital piano, but there are better options out there. And the way looking at it, it seems to really be his playing. It's very sort of monotone. Let's continue. Yeah, I mean, again, just sort of these sorts of things. This resolves to here, and not vice versa. He plays this and then just sort of sits down on those notes. I'm exaggerating, of course, a little bit for effect, but the way that these just kind of are not connected to the previous notes. Ya ta ta ta. And that's just a real basic thing that's sort of missing. Let's continue. Again there, those notes, there's no resolution at all. There's a little bit of nice phrasing there. I can live with that. No, here he's breaking the line. So you have... And this has to be connected to here. So one of the most important things in piano playing that I always emphasize to my students, notes on the piano, as soon as you play them, they start to decrease in loudness. They start to decay. And it's incredibly important for that reason that we really feel the connection between the notes. Once you play a note, you can't sort of just let it go and then play the next note as if nothing happened. You have to listen to how that note develops, especially with long-held notes, something like this in this place where we have this long F. We have to listen to how it connects to this E flat afterwards. And that aspect, unfortunately, in this video is really completely lacking. Continuing on. Okay, and this section brings me to my next point. One of the things, another thing that's really missing in this performance is any sense of voicing. Now, what voicing means is when we have a group of notes on the piano, when we have a chord, we always have to decide which notes are the most important notes in the chord. Do I want to emphasize the top ones? Do I want to emphasize the bottom ones? Do I want to do something else? There's really almost an infinite number of different ways that you can voice a chord. So if I play a chord like this, for example, I could emphasize the top notes up here. I could emphasize the bottom note down here. I could do something in between. But most importantly, I have to make a decision. And this is something that a lot of amateurs haven't yet developed in piano playing, this ability to voice different chords. And in Rousseau's playing, I feel that it's completely absent. On no chord do I get the sense that he's thinking about how to voice it. And this is a perfect example of that. These chords are very, very two-dimensional. All the notes just feel the same, as if he just sort of emphasizes them all equally. And by the way, Debussy does not write forte here, he writes pianissimo. This is supposed to be very soft and ethereal. And instead, Rousseau just sort of plays it the way it looks on the page, which is, lots of notes, looks like it should be played loudly, but instead, very soft. And I would say we have to emphasize those chords on the top to give them a really sort of dreamy quality, like this. And to feel some sort of sense of phrasing of the connection, for example, between this chord and this chord again. All of that is, again, just not there. The way he hammers those bass notes, right? I mean, this is pianissimo. This is supposed to be pianissimo. Very heavy-handed. And here Debussy writes crescendo little by little, and Rousseau is already on this very high level, so there's not much left to go. Not much room left to go. Yeah, and there's also just not really a good sense of rubato. So, the way he takes time is somewhat unnatural. Here also, the voicing of the upper notes on the chord. It's all just very flat, all the same. Continuing on. No sort of diminuendo there like Debussy writes. He's playing the bass notes very loud. Yeah, here Debussy writes this beautiful singing melody in the right hand, and he writes this undulating accompaniment with these notes down below. Now, what I would really like to hear here is more voicing of the upper notes and less attention to all these 16th notes underneath, which are supposed to be just sort of like a carpet for the rest of the melody. So something like. And instead we get a kind of a heavy-handed, I'm perhaps exaggerating a little bit, but all of these 16th notes down below, very heavy, way too loud, and it conflicts with the melody. It covers up the melody up on the top, as you'll hear here. Too much of those 16th notes. Yeah, and this becomes really apparent when we get towards the end of this section, because these notes up high here in this part of the piano are naturally a little bit softer, and when you have lots of notes down below, if you're not careful, that's going to cover up what we have on top. So what we need is more of a sound like, and not, which completely covers up that beautiful melody on the very top of that figuration. Same thing here. Those upper notes just get a bit lost in all those undulating 16th notes. Here, this is also bizarre to me too. Finally, Debussy does write a forte, and Rousseau doesn't really do it. So before, when we had the pianissimo, Rousseau does forte, and now that we have a forte, Rousseau doesn't really show it. This is actually sort of supposed to be one of the climaxes of the piece, if not the climax. Sorry. And then moving into a sudden pianissimo here. And this transition from to here should be so magical. And I feel that that really gets lost in this video. It just kind of goes straight through. And here again, Debussy writes a pianissimo, but it's not there. He's already very strong in the dynamic. I would like it to flow a bit more here too. It feels just a bit plodding. Yeah, dum and then dum. These should be less, so that there's a sense of a connection between here and here. And by the way, Debussy writes dotted half notes here for the bass notes, meaning that they're supposed to be emphasized, and the notes in between much less. He also writes, by the way, triple pianissimo here. This is not a triple pianissimo what Rousseau is doing, and I'm very, very forgiving when it comes to dynamics. We often, take liberties with it, but this is just, there's no attention to what the composer has written, just some basic mistakes. Let's continue. Again, he could do a lot more with emphasizing the top notes throughout here. They just get covered up by everything else. And this, the big grave offense here. This da-da-dum, and then out of nowhere, instead of feeling this resolution, okay, da-da-dum, resolving, and pianissimo. It all needs to be much more ethereal. It needs to be more sensitive. There needs to be more attention paid to the phrasing, and by the way, to the fingering. Part of the reason that he's not connecting the notes so well in the right hand has to do with the fact that he's not using good fingerings. So, for example, on all of these things, trying to find ways to somehow keep the notes connected with the fingers. I don't know if he does it here exactly, but there are many places where he just sort of lifts the hand and puts it down, holds the notes with the pedal, but that's not really ideal. Okay. Very heavy-handed here instead of the pianissimo that we should have. Listen to those bass notes, way too heavy. The missing voicing also, all the notes sort of the same loudness here in the chords, both vertically and horizontally. Yeah, these, you cannot get a more clear phrase than da 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 da, right? It starts low, it goes up, and then it comes back down again. And we don't get that at all. Why not da da tum pum, da da tum pum, and then the third time the most, maybe going back, something like this. And then paying attention to those 16th notes that they don't get too loud, so that we can really bring out the melody. Let's continue on. Both of those chords, just the same loudness. No attention paid to shaping the phrases there. Yeah, and here he makes a mistake with the rhythm. Debussy writes very, very clearly 16th, 8th. So there should be a clear distinction between da 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 dum bum 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 and he plays them all as one arpeggio. That's just incorrect. It's not the correct rhythm, and Debussy writes not only ritardando, but also he writes dying away until the end. So getting softer and softer. It should, you can, of course, you can get slower at the end, but that's on top of the rhythm that he already writes here with these eighth notes. So there should be more slowing down at the end, and above all, playing the right rhythm. So what do I think of this video? Again, I have nothing personal against Rousseau. I'm sure he's a great person. It's just that this is a very interesting example to me of how some not so good pianism can end up rising in the algorithms and promote to people versions of pieces which are really not ideal. And so this is really the case with a lot of pieces now. You search for the Moonlight Sonata online, you search for Clair de Lune or whatever famous piano piece it might be. And in a lot of cases, the first video that will pop up will not be a good performance of the piece, despite the fact that there are oftentimes hundreds of fabulous performances available. The ones that are recommended to us are very, very lacking because they tend to belong to people that have amassed a big following for other reasons than the playing itself. So I hope you've at least learned a little bit in this video, if nothing else, what not to do, a little bit about phrasing, a little bit about voicing. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you again soon.